Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my video. In the last video, we talked about JavaScript variables. In this video, we're going to dive deeper into one particular variable, which is a string. So in this video, we'll talk about string concatenation. Sounds like a mouthful, yeah? So it's not really as complicated as it sounds. Trust me, it's super easy. So string concatenation is basically putting two strings together or adding two strings together. So let's start off by first trying to demonstrate what happens when you add two numbers together. So we create a variable and we'll call it my points. Let's give this variable a value of 15. Let's create a second variable which we'll call your points, and we'll give this variable a value of 30. So when we add these variables together, let's just console log and see the result we get when we add my points plus your points. We save that, and we see here in our console we get a result which is a number, which is the sum of my points plus your points. So let's go back here and let's delete all that. And now we're going to test out and see what happens when we add two strings together. So to do that, we create a console log, and within that console log, we create a string. We'll say my name is, and let's add a plus sign and create another string, Love. My name is Love. We'll save that, and then let's go back to our console and we can see our message appears here. My name is Love. So there's no space between our first string and our second string. That's simply because there was no space within the string. So we could add a space after the is or right before my name here. So let's just add a space there. And there you go. Looks a lot better now. So next, let's look at what happens if your string has a quote in it. You may have noticed I'm using single quotes here. So what happens if you have a single quote within your string? So we delete that and create a statement like hello, it's me, Mario, and close that. Anyway, basically you see what happens here is we open our string with a single quote, and the moment it sees another single quote within our string, it automatically assumes we want to close our string, which is not what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to add a single quote within our string. So there are a number of ways I'll show you in which you can solve this. I'll start with the first one. The first way you can solve this is adding a backslash right before the quote, which you do not want to recognize as an ending quote. So immediately we can see there that once we type it like this, the JavaScript is able to tell, oh, this quote right here is not a closing quote, it's just a quote within the string. So this backslash is pretty much escapes the quote working as it usually does. So that's one way which we can do it. The second way which we can do it is by using double quotes instead of single quotes here. So we add a double quote and close with a double quote. We save that, and we can see it's pretty much the same result. We have our single quote there. It will not recognize it as a closing quote since we opened our string with a double quote. So that's a second way in which we can do it. But then this could easily lead to a lot of complication because when you're coding in JavaScript, it's highly recommended you decide what you want to use. Do you want to use single quotes when you declare your strings, or do you want to use double quotes? I personally prefer to use single quotes. So it's pretty much the same. You just have to decide. But if you have situations where sometimes you use double quotes, sometimes you use single quotes, because of what's contained within your string, it will probably lead to a lot of complications. So let's start by showing you the third method in which you can do this same thing right here. So let's create a variable. We call that name, and we'll call this Mario. We close that. And then when we want to concatenate this into another string, let's create a console log right here. When we want to add this to another string, we'll not use single quotes and we'll not use double quotes, but instead we'll use backticks. You can find backticks next to your one. So you add a backtick like that right there, and then you can type in your string within the backtick. So you can say hello, it's me. Then we give it a space. Now we will not use a plus sign here, but instead we'll use a dollar sign, curly braces. And what happens here is it gets out of the string, and within these curly braces, you can write whatever valid JavaScript code you wish to write within a string. So we'll add our name variable there. We can end that with a semicolon and save that. When we go back to our console, we see the exact same result as before. So as you can see, the backticks allow us to write our code in a more visible way. It's a much more natural way, actually. It actually makes it easier also if we wanted to concatenate together a number of different variables. So let's give a quick example. Delete all that. And we'll create a variable called name. Name Love. And then we create another variable called age. And we give this a number 25. So name Love, age 25. So we'll do this using both methods. So this is the first method. And yes, let's create a string that adds together this information. So create a console log in which we'll add a string. Says hello, it's me, space, put a plus sign, give my name, another plus sign, and I am, give it a space, a plus sign, age, another plus sign, years old. We end that. So we save that. And we can see, hello, it's me, Love, and I am 25 years old. We added together these two variables. But you can see this is a lot. This is a lot to look at. So with the backticks, it makes it way, way easier. So let's just show it using the second method. Using the second method would simply create our console log. And here would add our backticks. And we type in the same string. Hello, it's me. our dollar sign, our curly braces, name, and I am, again, our dollar sign and curly braces, age, years old. We save that. And if we go back to our console, we see we get the exact same result for pretty much less code. And code which is much easier to use. So when concatenating strings together, I highly recommend you use backticks. It's pretty much the best way to go. So if you notice something here, we had two variables, which was name, which had a string, and we had age, which is a number. So when we concatenate together a string and a number, pretty much what happens is we get a string as a result, because JavaScript is not able to convert this string into a number to add them together, but instead converts this number into a string. We can show you what happens here by pretty much writing a console log, and we have our variable for name plus age. We save that, and we can see here it gives us lobe 25, which is a string. We can check that this is a string using the same technique I taught you in our last video, where we can say type of, let's put that in brackets. We save that, and we can see our result is a string. So when you concatenate together a string with a number, your result will be a string every time. So that's all I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please leave me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video with somebody who might love it, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.